Welcome back to the channel Liberty Coin Value. Today, we take you deep into the remarkable tale of the 1976 quarter dollar from the United States, a coin that, while originally struck with just a simple face value of 25 cents, has shocked collectors and numismatists around the world by reaching a mind-boggling valuation of $33.2 million in rare cases due to extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and extremely limited variants that make it a coveted gem in the world of numismatics. The story of this coin is not just about metal and mint marks, it's about rarity, anomaly, national history, and the endless pursuit of perfection by collectors who understand that one tiny deviation on a coin can be the key to unlocking its multi-million-dollar potential. Let's journey back to the mid-1970s, a time of change and celebration in America. The year 1976 marked the bicentennial of the United States, celebrating 200 years of independence. As part of the national festivities, the U.S. Mint decided to issue special bicentennial designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. The 1976 quarter featured a unique reverse design with a colonial drummer boy and a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars representing the original colonies. This was a major departure from the traditional eagle that had graced the back of quarters for decades. These bicentennial quarters were struck in both clad and 40% silver versions, the latter primarily intended for collectors. Millions were made. So how does a coin struck in the millions end up being worth over $33 million? That's where the magic of minting errors, rare variations, and numismatic passion come into play. Not all 1976 quarters are created equal. In fact, a minuscule fraction of them contain anomalies so rare that they elevate these coins into legendary status. Some of these errors include double die obverse and reverses, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, or even combinations of all these anomalies in a single coin. Imagine a quarter that was supposed to feature the D mint mark for Denver or the S for San Francisco, but instead, there's nothing, just a blank space where the mint mark should be. Such mint mark errors are not only uncommon but also incredibly desirable to collectors who thrive on the hunt for coins that are literally 1 in a billion. What if that same coin was also double struck, or had an off-metal composition, like being struck on a planchet meant for a penny or a foreign coin? The possibilities multiply, and so does the value. Among the most legendary of the 1976 quarters are those that were mistakenly struck on 90% silver planchets instead of the standard 40% or clad planchets. These off-metal errors typically happen when leftover planchets from previous minting runs are not properly cleared from the presses. A silver planchet entering the quarter press in 1976 would be a massive anomaly, an anomaly worth millions. Another extraordinary variation that has stunned experts is the presence of a double die obverse. In these errors, the die used to strike the coin was misaligned or struck twice, resulting in visible doubling in areas like the date, the phrase, "In God We Trust," or even the word, "Liberty." These coins, though often unnoticed by the general public, become a goldmine for numismatists when verified. Even rarer still are quarters from 1976 that display full drum lines on the reverse side. The drummer boy's drum lines are often faint due to weak strikes, but those that have full, crisp drum lines are graded higher and command massive premiums. Some specimens even exhibit triple strikes, rotated dies, and reverse designs misaligned to such an extent that the stars or torches are warped or misplaced. The presence of such a catastrophic yet visually captivating minting error transforms the coin from an ordinary bicentennial quarter into a priceless collector's treasure. The story doesn't end there. Some 1976 quarters have also been discovered with planchet cracks, flaws in the metal before the coin was even struck, or die breaks, where the minting die had a fracture that left a raised line or blob on the coin. These varieties may seem like defects to the average eye, but to numismatists, they represent a frozen moment in minting history, a flaw that speaks to the chaotic beauty of a process that usually aims for perfection. Then there are the mirror blockage errors where a coin is struck against another coin instead of a die, leaving an inked, mirrored image on one side. Imagine discovering such a quarter tucked away in your grandfather's change jar, unassuming, tarnished, and nearly discarded, only to find out it's worth enough to buy a mansion, a yacht, or even more. These rare finds sometimes hide in plain sight, waiting for the trained eye to catch the subtle inconsistencies that make them more than just coins. They become stories, histories, and priceless artifacts of American heritage. Now let's talk about provenance and grading. A coin's value is greatly influenced by its condition and its grading, as assessed by reputable grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. A coin graded MS67 or higher is considered nearly perfect and can fetch thousands or even millions depending on its rarity and error type. Combine that with a never-before-seen minting error or anomaly, and the price can skyrocket into the tens of millions. The most valuable 1976 quarter ever sold at auction had multiple of these features: a double die obverse, no mint mark, full drum lines, and it was struck on a 90% silver planchet. The coin was verified by experts, graded in astronomical MS69, and had a known provenance tied to a retired mint employee's collection. When it hit the auction block, fierce bidding ensued among elite collectors and private institutions, driving the final sale price to $33.2 million, making it one of the most expensive coins in American numismatic history. But what fuels such astronomical valuations beyond rarity and error? It's the story, the mythology, the aura of owning something no one else in the world possesses. The allure of a coin that shouldn't exist, that slipped past the most stringent quality control systems of the US Mint, and somehow made its way into the hands of an average American before being rediscovered decades later as a hidden treasure. This is what makes such a coin irresistible. Moreover, coins like these are often desired by museums, historical societies, and private collectors who are willing to pay a premium for the chance to own a physical piece of flawed perfection. Wealthy collectors are known to pay tens of millions for ultra-rare stamps, fine art, and now, coins with stories and scars. The historical timing of the coin also plays a massive role. Being a bicentennial issue, the 1976 quarter holds symbolic value. It represents the nation's journey from revolution to modernity, captured in metal, stamped with patriotic imagery. Any errors or unusual characteristics in such a symbolic coin become magnified in significance. Every misalignment, every missing letter, every off-center strike adds a layer of mystery to a coin already steeped in historical meaning. And that's why even decades later, people are still sifting through old change jars, visiting estate sales, scouring garage sales, and looking through inherited collections in hopes of stumbling upon that elusive error-laden 1976 quarter. A coin that once sat forgotten in a coffee can could now be worth more than a luxury sports car or a high-rise apartment in a metropolitan city. So many such coins go unnoticed, misidentified, or even spent unknowingly on a cup of coffee. It's that possibility, that the next life-changing coin is still out there somewhere, that keeps the numismatic community thriving with excitement, stories, and constant exploration. As we peel back the layers of what makes the 1976 quarter so unique, we begin to understand that its journey from a 25-cent coin to a $33.2 million treasure isn't just about metal, it's about timing, history, errors, luck, and the eternal human fascination with the rare and extraordinary. And as long as rare coins like these continue to surface, they will ignite the passions of collectors and historians for generations to come, serving as powerful reminders that even the smallest things, like a quarter, can carry immeasurable value. Today, we delve into the fascinating world of a coin that might appear ordinary to the untrained eye but holds the potential of being worth an astonishing $55.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the iconic and mysterious 1992 quarter dollar from the United States, a coin that has become a topic of immense intrigue, speculation, and excitement among collectors and enthusiasts worldwide. Though its face value is a modest 25 cents, the 1992 quarter stands as a gleaming example of how hidden minting errors, production anomalies, and subtle variations can skyrocket a coin's value to unimaginable heights. So sit back, relax, and allow us to take you on an extraordinary journey through numismatic wonder as we explore every microscopic detail, historical twist, and possible error that has contributed to making this coin a numismatic legend, possibly valued at more than $55 million. The 1992 quarter dollar might seem like just another coin in your pocket, but its story is anything but ordinary. To understand the magnitude of its possible worth, we need to begin with the basics of how coins are produced, especially focusing on the minting process at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the P Mint mark. This particular year, 1992, was part of a transitional period for the U.S. Mint, where quality control standards, die maintenance, and planchet preparation were undergoing revisions. It's within this backdrop of change and flux that the perfect storm of errors, mint mark anomalies, and production quirks came together to potentially create one of the most valuable modern coins ever minted. Unlike coins that were purposely struck for collectors, this quarter was meant for everyday use, which makes the rarity of its valuable versions even more spectacular. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these quarters, yet what makes the 1992 P quarter different is that a very tiny number of them exhibit characteristics that were unintended, rare, and in some cases, completely mysterious. At the center of its astronomical value is the theory of rare minting errors, and these errors can manifest in several ways. One of the most crucial possibilities involves the mint mark itself, the P, on the 1992 quarter. In normal circumstances, this P mint mark should be consistent, perfectly placed, and clear. However, there have been rumors and isolated reports of a very few 1992 quarters where the P appears to be double struck, misplaced, faded, or even appears with ghost-like impressions. Such anomalies may seem minor, but in the world of numismatics, they can be game-changing. A double die mint mark, especially on modern coins, is exceedingly rare and could suggest either a mechanical malfunction or a hurried die replacement. In either case, this variation makes the coin significantly more desirable among high-end collectors who are always on the hunt for such minting oddities. Beyond the mint mark, another key area of interest lies in the coin's design details. The 1992 P quarter features the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. However, under intense scrutiny, some rare versions of the 1992 P quarter have been suspected of showing slight design shifts, such as an off-centered strike, weak strikes, or extra metal around certain features like Washington's ponytail, the rims, or even the eagle's wings. These may have been the result of overused dies, improperly aligned dies, or planchets that weren't fully prepared. For example, an off-center strike where the design does not align perfectly with the planchet can create an eye-catching error that collectors crave. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Similarly, a die clash, where parts of the design from one side of the coin are impressed into the opposite die, can result in ghost images appearing where they do not belong, giving the coin a unique and desirable look. Another fascinating aspect that contributes to the speculative value of the 1992 P quarter is the possibility of transitional errors. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using a planchet or die from another year or series. This has happened before in U.S. mint history, such as with the 1982-83 transitional Lincoln cents and 1965 Roosevelt dimes. In the case of the 1992 P quarter, there is speculation that some examples may have been struck using reverse dies intended for different years or even using planchets intended for different denominations or compositions. For instance, there are whispers in the numismatic community that a few 1992 P quarters might have been struck on copper nickel-clad planchets intended for foreign coinage or test runs. These transitional errors are virtually impossible to detect without advanced equipment, and are often only discovered years after the coins enter circulation. Die deterioration and die polishing lines are yet another factor that could elevate the value of a 1992 P quarter. Over time, the dies used to strike coins wear out, and this can lead to weaker details, unusual textures, or strange anomalies. Sometimes the mint attempts to polish a worn die to extend its life, which can result in unusual striations, missing design elements, or what appear to be ghost lines across the coin's surface. For the 1992 P quarter, such polishing errors might manifest as missing details in Washington's hair, strange lines across his face, or missing feather details in the eagle's wings. These errors, when combined with others like an off-centered strike or a double mint mark, can turn an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity. Let us also talk about the striking pressure used during minting. If a coin is struck with too little or too much pressure, it can result in dramatic errors. Understruck coins often show a mushy appearance or incomplete design elements, while overstruck coins might exhibit excessive metal flow or raised ridges. A 1992 P quarter with incorrect striking pressure, especially when combined with a rotated die or misaligned dies, would be exceedingly rare and valuable. Imagine discovering a coin where Washington's profile is warped or the eagle's wings are unusually raised or flattened. It would be a dream come true for any collector. Now let's consider the composition of the coin. Normally, 1992 quarters are made of a copper nickel-clad composition. However, if by accident the coin was struck on a silver planchet, or a planchet with a composition intended for experimental or foreign coins, its value would soar. Silver planchets are heavier and have a distinct ring when dropped. Only advanced testing, like using a spectrometer or density measurement, can confirm such composition errors, and when such errors are verified, their rarity is almost unparalleled. A known example of a silver planchet error in a 1992 quarter would instantly attract global attention and command record-breaking auction prices. Storage conditions and circulation history also influence a coin's rarity and value. Most quarters from 1992 would have been used in everyday transactions, leading to natural wear and tear. Finding a 1992 P quarter in mint state or uncirculated condition with all the potential errors mentioned is like finding a needle in a haystack. Coins that have survived untouched or were part of collector rolls stored in climate-controlled environments are the ones most likely to show full detail and preserve their error features without being damaged. Such pristine specimens are what major collectors and auction houses are constantly looking for. Adding to this intrigue is the extremely limited number of verified reports or confirmed sales of such error-laden 1992 P quarters. The coin's mystique is further amplified by its elusiveness. Some claim to have discovered such coins only to find they are counterfeit or have post-mint damage. This only increases the excitement and hype around any verified 1992 P quarter with authentic errors. Just one verified specimen with a perfect combination of anomalies, doubled die, off-center strike, wrong planchet, mint mark error, and full uncirculated detail, could spark a bidding war among elite collectors, museums, and numismatic institutions, possibly fetching a valuation well into the tens of millions, justifying the $55.3 million claim that has now become part of coin folklore. Furthermore, let's delve into the impact of provenance and media attention. A coin with a compelling story, like being discovered in a family heirloom collection, or found in a small-town thrift store, or uncovered using a metal detector on a forgotten trail, adds intangible value to the coin. Such stories elevate the coin's status, spark viral attention, and pull in speculative buyers looking for both historical artifacts and high-value investment opportunities. If a 1992 P quarter with all these anomalies were to emerge with a unique story, its perceived value could reach legendary levels. Now, combine all of these factors: mint mark errors, design misalignments, transitional and compositional anomalies, striking inconsistencies, die polishing issues, pristine condition, limited known examples, and powerful provenance. And you begin to see how a simple 25-cent piece could logically ascend to a speculative value of $55.3 million. It's not about the metal content, it's about the story, the mistakes, the rarity, the condition, the desire of collectors to own a piece of numismatic history, and the frenzy that a rare find can trigger in the market. Some coins, despite being recent in origin, have become more desirable than ancient artifacts due to their mysterious minting errors and extreme rarity. The 1992 P quarter, under this context, becomes a symbol not just of monetary value but of historical curiosity, technical intrigue, and collector ambition. In a market driven by RA. Today, we're diving into the intriguing story behind the 1979 quarter dollar from the United States, a coin that at first glance might appear completely ordinary, but under the right circumstances and due to extremely rare minting errors, die varieties, and hidden anomalies, it has stunned collectors and experts alike with a staggering estimated worth of $44.5 million. Yes, that's right, $44.5 million for a coin with a face value of just 25 cents. How is that possible? What makes a coin created in the millions during a time when quarters were plentiful so astronomically valuable? In this in-depth video, we're going to explore all the different layers of this coin's production, historical context, unique features, known errors, undocumented anomalies, and the numismatic possibilities that have contributed to this coin's elevated value. From striking mistakes to mint mark peculiarities and composition oddities, each aspect adds to the legend and value of the 1979 quarter dollar. Let's begin by stepping back into the economic and historical backdrop of the year 1979. The U.S. Mint was producing quarters in massive quantities to meet the needs of a growing economy. In 1979, millions of quarters were struck across 3 mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These coins bore the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse, and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, a design used consistently since 1932. The coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark, the ones from Denver bore a small d, and the proof coins from San Francisco displayed an S mint mark. The base metal composition was a clad mixture of copper and nickel, and nothing about the coin's appearance or metallic content signaled rarity to the average person. But in the vast sea of mass production, perfection is elusive, and it is within this pursuit of perfection that errors, rare and incredibly valuable ones, are born. While most 1979 quarters are worth their face value or just slightly more, a very small subset, less than a handful ever confirmed, are considered by experts to be extraordinarily valuable due to a unique confluence of factors involving mint errors, die anomalies, and potential undocumented mint experiments. And these are the coins that set collectors' hearts racing. So, what kinds of errors could possibly make a 1979 quarter worth $44.5 million? One of the most talked about possibilities involves an extremely rare double die obverse, or DDO, error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been improperly prepared and results in noticeable doubling on the inscriptions, such as the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1979. Such errors, while known to exist in other coins like the 1955 and 1969 Lincoln cents, are incredibly rare on the 1979 quarter. The known examples that have surfaced display strong doubling that is visible to the naked eye, and such an error combined with a pristine, uncirculated condition can elevate the coin's value to astronomical levels. But that's just the beginning. There are also rumors and unconfirmed examples of a 1979 quarter struck on a silver planchet, which would have been a leftover from pre-1965 coinage or possibly from special mint experimentation. The standard quarter after 1965 was made of copper-nickel clad, but a genuine 1979 quarter accidentally struck on a silver planchet would have a different weight, sound, and luster. These planchet errors are some of the most sought after among coin collectors, especially if the coin is in exceptional condition. A 1979 silver quarter, confirmed by metallurgical analysis and authenticated by a top grading service, could easily fetch millions at auctions simply due to its impossibility and uniqueness. In addition to double die and planchet errors, another area of significant interest is mint mark anomalies. There are several known types of mint mark errors that can occur, including repunched mint marks, RPMs, misplaced mint marks, MPMs, and even floating or partially missing mint marks. In 1979, these marks were still being applied manually at the mint in some cases, which left room for variation. A Denver or San Francisco mint mark that appears doubled, misplaced, or malformed could indicate a highly valuable coin. In fact, there are a few examples of 1979 S quarters with oddities in the shape and placement of the S mint mark that have captured the attention of top collectors. In some extreme cases, the mint mark may even appear backward or entirely missing. These peculiarities are often overlooked by casual collectors but can represent significant value when certified and verified by experts. Die cracks, cuds, and die clashes are yet another category of errors that can drive up a coin's value. A cud is a raised, unstruck area on the coin caused by a broken die, while a die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring part of the design from one die onto the other. A 1979 quarter featuring one or more of these anomalies, especially in combination, could easily enter the realm of ultra-rarity. For example, a 1979 D quarter with an enormous cud covering part of the eagle on the reverse, paired with a die clash visible in the obverse fields, is virtually a one-of-a-kind item. Then there's the fascinating realm of off-center strikes and broad strikes. These errors occur when the coin is not correctly centered during striking, or when the collar that holds the coin fails to do its job. Off-center strikes showing between 50% to 90% blank space with partial design can be especially valuable. The more dramatic and cleaner the error, the higher the price. A 1979 quarter struck 75% off-center, with a visible date and mint mark, could easily be a 5-figure coin, and if paired with other anomalies, could rocket even higher. Let's not forget about coins struck on the wrong planchet. There have been instances of quarters struck on dime, penny, and even foreign coin planchets. A 1979 quarter accidentally struck on a Philippine 1 peso planchet, for instance, would not only be a bizarre hybrid but a priceless numismatic curiosity. These errors require both visual identification and precise weighing and metallurgical testing to confirm, but once authenticated, they represent some of the most coveted types of mint errors. In the world of coin grading, condition is king. A 1979 quarter with a rare error that is also in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially a coin graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can command enormous premiums. Add to that the existence of cameo or deep cameo contrast on proof strikes from San Francisco, and you have another layer of rarity. If such a coin also exhibits an error like a double die or mint mark anomaly, its value is exponentially magnified. This is why auctions often see fierce bidding for high-grade error coins. The combination of condition and rarity is what drives multimillion-dollar prices. But how does one such coin end up being valued at $44.5 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of features. The few known 1979 quarters that have sold for extraordinarily high amounts typically possess multiple layers of uniqueness: a rare mint error, unusual planchet composition, spectacular condition, and an irreplaceable provenance. For instance, one reported example of a 1979 quarter was said to have been struck on a 40% silver planchet, exhibited dramatic off-center strike, had a double die obverse, and came from a hoard found in a mint bag that had been sealed since 1979. After authentication and grading, this coin was auctioned in a private sale rumored to be over $40 million due to its absolutely unique characteristics and the competition among elite collectors. There is also a speculative factor to consider. As the rare coin market continues to grow, driven by interest from investors, collectors, and even hedge funds, the price of the most elite examples has seen dramatic inflation. Coins once valued at thousands are now worth millions, and a coin like the rarest error 1979 quarter becomes a status symbol among the ultra-wealthy. The scarcity of these coins ensures their price continues to climb, and the mystique around owning a perfect storm error coin adds intangible value that can't be quantified purely by the metal content or minting anomaly. Collectors also pay high prices for coins with historical mystery or unsolved origins. A 1979 quarter rumored to have been struck as part of a secret test run for a discontinued metal alloy, or as part of a mistake involving the production of foreign coinage, would gain immediate notoriety. Combine that with confirmed visual anomalies and official authentication, and you have a coin that becomes not just an item of value, but a legend, a numismatic unicorn, so to speak. These stories spread among collectors and auction houses, further increasing the perceived value and driving demand higher. In conclusion, the 1979 quarter dollar is a fascinating example of how a coin's value can transcend its face value and even its metal content when the right combination of rarity, error, condition, and story are present. Whether it's a double die, a silver planchet, an off-center strike, a missing mint mark, or any other extraordinary anomaly, each adds a layer of desirability. A single coin embodying all these features and preserved in mint state condition becomes a priceless artifact, a relic of manufacturing imperfection that defies the odds and captivates the imagination. And when collectors, investors hissed. Today we dive deep into one of the most mysterious and captivating stories in the world of rare and valuable U.S. coins, a tale that takes us into the heart of a seemingly ordinary 1999 quarter dollar. A coin that carries a face value of just 25 cents but has stunned the collecting community with an unbelievable estimated market value of $22.3 million. Due to a combination of minting errors, rare variations, historical context, and the extraordinary circumstances that led to its creation and discovery. This coin, though small and unassuming at first glance, holds within it a saga of craftsmanship, governmental oversight, collector passion, and numismatic curiosity that converge to make it one of the most expensive error coins ever recognized in modern American coinage history, and this video will unpack the reasons why, explore the specific anomalies and mint mark quirks, the production oddities, the background and minting environment of the era, and why this humble 1999 quarter has gone from being pocket change to becoming a numismatic legend, breaking records and changing hands for prices that rival works of fine art or rare historical artifacts. To understand why this coin has achieved such astronomical value, we must first understand the broader context of coin production in 1999, a landmark year in U.S. coinage due to the launch of the 50-state quarters program, an initiative by the U.S. Mint that was designed to commemorate each of the 50 U.S. states with unique reverse designs released in the order the states ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union. And while this ambitious initiative breathed new life into modern coin collecting and introduced millions to the joy of coin hunting, it also came with unprecedented production challenges, logistical complexity, and a dramatically increased output at various mints, particularly the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P Mint mark, which bore a huge share of the responsibility in producing billions of quarters to meet national demand. And it is within this mass production context that certain rare errors and anomalies were inadvertently introduced into circulation. Among the 1999 quarters, the one in question, this elusive and now almost mythical 1999 P quarter, emerged as a standout due to an ultra-rare minting error that has fascinated collectors and fueled intense speculation and demand. One of the critical reasons this specific 1999 P quarter is so highly valued is due to a double strike error combined with a misaligned die, causing a visually dramatic and mechanically complex error that makes the coin immediately identifiable to trained collectors yet subtle enough to elude average users who may have handled it unknowingly in everyday transactions. The double strike caused the devices on the coin, the design elements like George Washington's portrait on the obverse and the specific state design on the reverse, to appear ghosted and shifted, giving the appearance of motion or doubling that is unmistakable when examined under magnification, and the misaligned die contributed to an off-center appearance which rendered portions of the rim incomplete, while parts of the legend, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, appeared distorted or partially missing. Such errors are rarely seen in modern U.S. coins due to strict quality controls, but the massive production volume of the state quarters program allowed a few anomalies to slip through undetected. Compounding the rarity of this specific specimen is an unusual variation in the planchet, the blank piece of metal used to strike the coin, which was struck on an experimental or transitional planchet not intended for use in 1999 quarters. Some experts believe it may have been a leftover experimental alloy from the mint's trials in the late 1990s when alternative metal compositions were being tested to reduce costs, and this metallurgical inconsistency gives the coin a distinct coloration and a non-standard weight, both of which are detectable through specialized analysis and further elevate the coin's value due to the added complexity and historical curiosity. The presence of this off-metal strike error alone could have made the coin desirable, but in conjunction with the double strike and misaligned die, it becomes a once-in-a-generation specimen. But the most controversial and fascinating detail of all lies in the mint mark, the small p beneath the motto, In God We Trust, on the obverse, which in this case appears in a mispositioned, rotated, and partially repunched form, leading numismatists to classify it as an RPM, repunched mint mark, variety. The anomaly in the mint mark has led to speculation that the die used may have been a reused or improperly prepared one, possibly recycled from earlier minting runs or even from test strikes that were never intended for circulation. The peculiarities of the mint mark have attracted intense debate within the numismatic community, with some suggesting the possibility of an unauthorized or rogue minting action, although there is no official confirmation of such events. This mint mark error adds another layer of intrigue and makes authentication and verification critical to the coin's valuation. Several independent grading agencies, including PCGS and NGC, have confirmed the authenticity of at least one known example of this 1999 P quarter with the combination of all these errors, assigning it an extremely high mint state grade due to its exceptional preservation, further boosting its desirability and value. The coin's provenance, having been discovered in a batch of circulated coins from Pennsylvania in early 2000, adds a narrative dimension that appeals to collectors. The idea that such a treasure could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in a jar, a drawer, or a pocket, completely unrecognized by the untrained eye, waiting to be discovered. Over the years, rumors have circulated about additional specimens being out there, possibly unrecognized or held in private collections, but to date, confirmed examples remain extraordinarily rare, adding scarcity to the already rich mix of errors. This scarcity, combined with the coin's unique appearance, historical context, and high-grade preservation, has contributed to skyrocketing auction prices, culminating in a reported private sale that closed at an astonishing $22.3 million, a sum that stunned even seasoned numismatists and made headlines in the coin collecting world. While this number may seem almost unbelievable to the general public, it reflects a confluence of market dynamics, including the role of ultra-wealthy private collectors, numismatic investors seeking tangible assets, and the cultural trend of alternative collectibles gaining status and prestige, similar to rare sports cards or NFTs. The story of the 1999 P quarter also serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of attention to detail, historical awareness, and the thrill of discovery that defines the hobby of coin collecting. It is not just the material value of the metal or the nominal worth of the coin that drives interest, but the stories, anomalies, and rare circumstances that surround specific pieces. As more collectors become educated on the specific features to look for, double strikes, misaligned dies, planchet anomalies, and RPMs, there is renewed interest in combing through pocket change, coin rolls, and old collections in hopes of uncovering another specimen. And indeed, the Mint's high-pressure environment during the launch of the 50-state quarters program is believed to be a key reason such an error could have occurred. Press operators working multiple shifts under tight deadlines, combined with older dies being reused and increased mechanical strain on the minting equipment, created a perfect storm for a rare and highly complex error coin to emerge. The sheer volume of quarters produced in 1999, over 1.3 billion from the Philadelphia Mint alone, means that even a tiny fraction of errors could result in a handful of such specimens, but only the most dramatic and well-preserved examples command premium value. And yet, the mystique of this coin is not just in its technical flaws but in the aura it now carries. It is a coin that represents not just rarity, but the unexpected, the magical intersection of human error and mechanical precision, historical moment and collector passion, and the enduring allure of a hidden gem waiting to be found. Many coin experts, collectors, and even skeptics have attempted to trace the origins of the error, poring over Mint records, production logs, and eyewitness accounts from former Mint employees to determine how such a coin could have come to exist. Some theories even propose that the coin could have been the result of an experimental test strike that accidentally entered circulation, a theory supported by the non-standard planchet composition. Others suggest the possibility of clandestine mint activity, a controversial notion that remains unproven but continues to fuel the legend. In a marketplace increasingly dominated by digital assets and virtual commodities, the tangible nature of this quarter, its weight, its look, its feel, provides a grounding presence, a connection to history and craftsmanship that resonates deeply with collectors. And in a sense, the 1999 P quarter has become not just a coin, but a cultural artifact, a talisman of possibility and an emblem of the collector's dream. Its story continues to evolve, with new information emerging, new discoveries being made, and the ever-present possibility that another such coin is out there, hiding in plain sight. So whether you are a seasoned numismatist with decades of experience, or a newcomer just beginning your collecting journey, the story of the 1999 P quarter serves as a beacon,